Hello, everybody out there in Facebook Live land. Hello, this is your girl, Suzzanne Monk, MAGAwoman.com. We are here back on Trump Talk, you guys. It's been a long time. Morning, Colin. It's been a long time since I've been doing these podcasts. But as you know, I did them throughout the election. If you've just joined in, please share so we can get some people tuning in. Because I want to get the Trump Talk started again. I'm very excited. We are back, people. Trump Talk US. I want to talk about what motivated me to come back first and foremost is watching what's happening with the Judge Moore election, you guys. Now, we're getting hit really hard and we have a lot of work. A lot of us put in a lot of time and a lot of effort in getting Donald Trump elected. And as I always say, I didn't elect a man, I elected a plan. I elected a plan, welcome Virginia. I elected a plan to make America great again. That's what I elected. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or, it doesn't matter. I would have elected anyone who, as a non-politician, as a citizen governance, wants to go in and make America great again. I would have elected anyone who would do that. Donald Trump just happened to be the person who took up the mantle and made that possible. So, you know, we're all very grateful for that. We're here, and now we have a lot of MAGA to do, people. We have a lot of MAGA to do and so much work. And nowhere are we seeing that as much as in the Judge Moore case. Now, out in Alabama, as you well know, Judge Moore beat Luther Strange for the right to run as the GOP candidate, and the left is freaking out. He's like 17, sometimes 20 points up above his opponent. ABC sent out a reporter to try and find somebody who had actually believed any of these accusations that are going on about Judge Moore. Morning, Barbara. And nobody could. They couldn't find anybody who would believe them. So we know we're living in an era where the Democrats and the establishment Republicans join together and make up stories, make up lies, use the media to smear candidates and control elections. But what they don't understand is that America is woke AF. No, send me a link, William. America is woke now. We are woke to their game. And so the news, this smear, this scandal that they put upon people, it doesn't work. And what's odd is we have Senator Menendez, who's actually on trial right now. No, the news isn't talking about it at all. I'm sure you all have seen the links. Go through your feeds, as I have. Morning, Keva. Nobody's talking about the Menendez case. No one is talking about Senator Menendez whatsoever. So okay, it's muted. I just wanted to make sure I didn't start singing random songs to you people. And yet, we're talking about Judge Roy Moore, constantly allegations that were made 40 years ago. You know, as soon as you see Gloria Allred involved in a situation, you have to go, what is this really about? Now, we have to, the reason I bring up Judge Moore is because it doesn't just matter in Alabama, you guys. It matters for all of us, for everybody who contributed to electing Donald J. Trump. Making sure that candidates like Judge Moore are not smeared out of the race is important to every single one of us. If we cannot put candidates that support the MAGA movement, that support the Trump agenda into office, here in D.C., here in Washington, we're not going to get the changes made that we elected Trump for. All of that will be basically in vain. So we've proved that the people can take back one branch, but we couldn't take back the other branches. And so we lost. Let's not make that the story of our history. Let's make the story of our history. America woke up and took back their government and took back their country from the political elites, from the political establishment, and from the globalists who are basically trying to control us and enslave us for their own financial benefit. I'm not speaking anything we don't all agree with. And frankly, a lot of people on the left agree with that too. They sat and occupied Wall Street for a long time to oppose this globalist banker movement. And what we patriots have been trying to say is, It's in the government. We need to take back our government. And so we've set out to do that, and we put Donald Trump in office. But we have a lot of work to do, particularly in races like Judge Moore. Now, what's important, here's how we can help. We can help. We can help to make sure that the establishment, GOP, and Democratic Party, the uniparty, as we are going to call them, the uniparty, we can make sure that we have an impact, even from our own homes, just sitting there on your phone, on your computer, on your laptop, on your pad, whatever you're using. We can make a difference by sharing good information. You guys, it's so important that we share the good information. We share the stories being revealed, not the mainstream media narrative that's designed to smear, but you all know a sound citizen journalist site, and please do your research. Please do your background research, and try not to share the fake news. Try not to share the ones that have the stupid ad that loop your phone into you can't get out. You have to close Chrome and go. It's ridiculous. But I know it's hard to avoid. Share things from things like Breitbart, there's a variety of the Daily Caller sometimes does great stuff. All news is mixed. Share a bunch of stuff. But we can have an impact. I'll talk about that in a second. We can have an impact in these smear campaigns by being the force that shares the counter information. So I need you all to take a minute to do that. Take a minute to read and find an article today about the situation and share it. How easy is that? It's so easy. William mentions that there are reports that he was banned from a mall in Alabama for predatory actions. You guys, it's 28 days before the election. If this was the case, would not any of this information come out before? We have to ask this again and again. Would this information not be out? Why does it come out now, when there is not time to validate or investigate the information, and we have to, it's forced into a he said, she said situation. It's forced into that. They do that on purpose. They use this timing on purpose because, as we know in the Herman Cain situation, once it's actually investigated, it's proven false. It's proven completely made up, often paid. So, we need to actually seek out to prosecute those who make these false claims for slander, for falsifying information, there's a lot of ways in which we, the people, can call for proper punishment for this misinformation campaign. So, we can also donate to campaigns across the country. Look, there are a bunch of races. They did it to Trump, Joe. They did exactly the same thing to Trump. There were what? On election day, there were 17 women who said Trump had raped them or groped them or grabbed their pussy in some way, or whatever they had said. And where did they all go? Bye, Felicia's. Some of them were actually deliberately, publicly proven wrong. The rest of them just vanished into thin air. So it's a tactic. We have to learn to combat the tactic by questioning the timing as a critical factor, questioning the timing and the source, and then following the money. And I think there's a lot of good evidence. Even to the point where I would suspect, we just heard about this mall. He was banned from the mall. Interestingly, he was banned from the mall just prior to when they kept records of who was banned from the mall. So, it's kind of, trying to make the camera stop going in and out. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of a stupid situation that we can't vet it yet. And I'm pretty sure that as we vet it out, we're going to find a lot of misinformation there too. I see the problems. I'm leaning in now. Okay. So, the Judge Moore case. We can do our part. We're going to have lots of races across the country that we have to get involved with. We have to get involved with these races nationally, you guys. It's so important. Yeah, Mitch McConnell spent tons of money, and here's the other thing. Moore is doing as good as he is without all of the financial backing of the national GOP. Because you know they wanted Luther Strange, and they certainly don't come around and then put the money in the hands of the outsider that just defeated them. It's just reality. They may back a few things, but the spigot is certainly turned down low. And Judge Moore has gotten to this point because he supports the president. Now, we got a lot of freaky people up here in Washington, okay? We got a lot of inappropriate behavior and ethics violations, all kinds of people up there. Interestingly, often on the Democratic side, but on the Republican side too. We have a lot of folks up there who have done some pretty inappropriate things in their time as a politician. Most of them not 40 years ago. But here's the thing. We need to elect people that can enact the Trump agenda. And it's how the elites stay in power is it's okay for me to have done those bad things, but I'm going to accuse any person from the outside trying to come in of the exact same things I have done. So here's how we defeat it. We just don't look the other way. We vote. Vote for your best choice. Vote for your actual best choice. Not necessarily vote for who the scandal of the day is being smeared on, because they both throw mud. Everybody throws mud. And more than saying look the other way, what I mean is take it with a grain of salt and then vote the best political decision. It's a straightforward thing. And I think at this point, voting in politicians who are going to support Donald Trump's agenda is key to saving our republic. You know as well as I do, if we cannot take back Congress and if we lose Congress to the Democrats, they will attempt to impeach President Trump and they will tie him up for the next 4 years, making it very difficult for him to enact any of his agenda. And we're going to have a fight on our hands in 2020. We're going to have a fight on our hands anyway. But what we want is a fight on our hands with a Congress that we are strengthening with Trump people. At this point, even the Tea Party sent more people to Washington. So we need to step up Trump Nation, and we need to get involved in these statewide races across the country, like Corey Stewart here in Virginia, like Paul Nehlen in Wisconsin. Jared, I agree. Vote the person the RNC does not support. That often is a good idea because the leaders of the RNC, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, even more so, there's even deeper Republicans who have been operating for many, many years up in Washington, here in Washington. And they certainly don't want any of these outsiders. They just don't want them, you guys. They just don't want them. They don't want somebody who's going to... They would rather lose Congress to the Democrats so they don't have to vote in the tax reform that Donald Trump wants them to vote in. And the Uniparty is going to do that. The one party of Democrats and Republicans put together is going to do that if we don't stop them. We, the people, have to keep doing the work. So, you know, in the movement, there's a lot of, oh, what should we be doing now that we've elected Donald Trump? We don't really know what we're doing. MAGA. We have to continue to MAGA. Thing number one to MAGA, we have to support the president's agenda. And one way we can support that in a meaningful way is to put pro-Trump politicians in office, send them here to Washington. That's what draining the swamp means. It means primarying and replacing rhinos and Democrats and sending them to Washington to enact the Trump agenda. So we have to be swamp drainers, you guys. You and I have to be the swamp drainers. And so it's so important to do what we can. And we can do easy things. Share information online. We are a social media force to be reckoned with, Trump Train. Share information online and get the information out there. By attacking more candidates like Maura, by attacking candidates who support the Trump agenda, they are in fact attacking us directly. That is an attack. And they, to be fair, the same people who are attacking Judge Moore have attacked patriots and attack our patriot movement. Speaking from someone who's actually been written about by the Washington Post. Just a good point to that. Hey, hello, how's it going? Thanks, Josh. Thanks for sharing. If you are tuning in to Trump Talk live in DC, please hit the share button. We certainly want to get the word out that we're doing this show now. And we are back on air, back sharing the information of the day, because I know it's hard to keep track of everything. So I want to talk about this Keurig boy. Oh, before I go, I want to talk about this mall issue. they can continue to try to create a pattern, and that's what they do. They just keep adding lies. So as soon as one liar is disproved, they just have another liar come out. So it's the tsunami of lies, of scandalous stories that come out that make it must seem true. There's so many stories. There's so much coming out. But all of the information, when you look at it, when you poke at it, it's built on a stack of cards. And so we don't have that time. Now, we do great because we're the Trump train, and we can, within 24 hours, vet information and get the right information out there. And I'm very proud of our movement because of that. But it still takes 24 hours. We still get that fake news cycle that has that, and it sinks in, and then they just keep hitting us every 24 hours or every 48 hours with a new story, and it's hard to keep up with the vetting process. So I want to encourage everybody to keep doing that and keep sharing the information that once it gets vetted. Also, just share your skepticism. Let them know it's not working. If it stops being effective, if Judge Moore can win this election, despite these egregious political attacks against him, it will make it less likely in the future that they try this tactic. If the tactic doesn't work, you don't do it. Even children, even toddlers, even babies know that. If throwing a temper tantrum doesn't work, they stop doing it. Now, advice to all you parents out there who are having a hard time with your kid having temper tantrums, from me and those parents out there who have figured out how to deal with a kid with temper tantrums, don't have none of it. They stop doing it. It's pretty simple. And it's the same thing with these politicians. It's simple. We just have to stop rewarding them from their behavior. So if Judge Moore can get elected, it will make a dent in their tactics. We will have defeated one of their tactics and chipped away at this method that they continue to use, which we have to stop. You guys, we cannot live in a world where the opposing party just pays people to say you raped them and you lose. We can't live in that world. That's not liberty. That's not a republic. So we have to take back our country and insist that these tactics don't work. It's so important. And, Carrie says Sessions is just too slow. In fact, we're just talking about Herman Cain, Carrie. Exactly. It's exactly like Herman Cain. The system of law is going to be too slow. We can't expect within 24 hours for any government agency to have vetted this information for us. We can't expect that. That's why we have to do it ourselves. That's why we have to do this investigation. That's why we have to get in there, do our research. There's all kinds of patriots who are doing good research, and we have to share that information as well. Herman Cain got hit directly, and it worked. It worked. They defeated Herman Cain effectively with that. We saw how it worked, and they've continued to use it. It failed against Donald Trump. If we continue to make it fail, they'll stop doing it. And you're right, Josh Sessions has a lot of work to do. And I find it interesting that everybody wants what Jeff Sessions is doing to be very public. Personally, as a patriot with the Department of Justice, I want what they're doing as far as investigations to be close to their vest, so that they can catch the bad guys. I'm much more concerned about catching the bad guys than I am about constant updates and reports as to what they're doing. So I should turn off the ringer. It's fine. So it's so important to kind of give, understand. I really will have to turn off the ringer. That's, yeah, you cannot that won't work. So Jeff Sessions is doing a lot of things, and I don't frankly need to know everything that he's doing right now. But I do, of course, like all of you, look forward to seeing indictments, to seeing arrests, to seeing the result. I'm also, I guess, I'm a lot more patient than a lot of people. So, which is let's move that on to our next topic, which is, it's an interesting transition. The Keurig ban, you got the Keurig boycott. Boy, so I'm saying, when you get on something, you get on it fast. Let me just say, for those of us who haven't followed the story, for people who haven't followed the story, on Sean Hannity was doing a lot of reporting on Judge Moore, as we know. And somebody online complained to Keurig that they were advertiser on Sean Hannity who was defending Judge Moore. And so Keurig agreed to pull their advertising. Yeah, I agree, Barbara. I agree. It's a, Barbara says inappropriate behavior happens with people bold enough to be in the role of politicians. Inappropriate behavior is also defined by the observer and the accuser, unfortunately. So, in some cases, you can have, people selling selling our uranium rights to the Russians, and other people ignore that, and then some people you talked to a Russian guy once, you're colluding. It becomes so political. Who's judging the political inappropriate behavior? And one of the reasons I'm not a Democrat, I can't vote with the Democrats, I can't support the Democrats, and I feel sad for their poor little souls, is I have over my lifetime noticed such a double standard that actually exists between the ethics requirements of the Republicans versus what the voters will tolerate in ethics for the Democrats. And I have literally had Democrats tell me, well, Republicans claim themselves Christians, so they should have stronger morals and should be held more accountable. Which says a whole bunch of things bad about the Democrats, because actually Democrats also count themselves as Christians and also want to have good morals. So I'm not really certain how you get away with saying Republicans are Christians and so they should have higher standards applied to them. But they do say that. That is exactly what they say. There is an actual double standard. Now, here's what happened. Okay, so Keurig wrote back to this one whiner, Snowflake Online. We're certainly going to look in removing our advertising. So, you guys got on it, and people started busting their Keurig machines and stopped buying Keurig, and had very public, lots of calls. Well, Keurig has called Sean Hannity and apologized for taking sides in politics, and they are now, Sean Hannity is called to say, hey, hold up, maybe don't break your Keurig. So, all of you people who just broke your Keurig, I really appreciate what you did. You made a great difference, but no, I think we're not breaking our Keurigs anymore. So, you might check yard sales or, various places where you might get another Keurig, or just buy a new one for Christmas. Help the economy out. It's good for all of us, right? It's just interesting. Might I suggest you guys, let's break less stuff in counter protest. I'm sure there's ways we can protest that don't involve breaking some. I mean, it's great. It makes for great video. But here, Josh says, I'm glad I didn't shoot mine. Right. Look, you guys also, just pro tip, go to the yard sale and get a broken one, and break that one if you're going to make a video, right? Like, save the good one, sell that at a yard sale. It's good stuff. So, we're doing great work with the boycotts. And so this is how I know we can affect these elections. We can affect the general agenda of this country. I know we can affect it because we do so well when we all get together and boycott something. And not even all of us, just a chunk of us. We put fear in the hearts of a lot of non-patriots. And we need to keep taking advantage of that strength we have. Camera. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about some of what the left has been doing. Hey, Yvette, how's it going? The left culture wars, as I call it. Out in California, we know Kyle Chapman has had his vehicle vandalized yet again. He was attacked himself. There was a member of the Proud Boys was attacked by 4 Antifa in the bathroom with baseball bats. There's all sorts of situations in which the left continues to be violent, continues to be aggressive. On my page, I've shared Steven Crowder infiltrating Antifa, and I think you all should take a chance to watch it. Barbara says, I bought an old school percolator because my Keurig was not making strong. Yeah, to be fair, I don't like the pot coffee anyway. Don't tell me how much coffee to put. I put how much coffee I want. That's how I roll, okay? You worry about you. I worry about how much coffee I put. Keurig. I've never had a Keurig. I love when we boycott stuff that I already don't use. So I can be like, yeah, screw them and their stuff that I never used anyway. Keep boycotting stuff I don't use, you guys. It's great. So, the left continues with these violent attacks, and now we've gotten so used to it, we don't even hear about it anymore. So one of the things we have to keep doing as a movement is sharing the information about the political violence that is going on. And I want everyone to go ahead and take a look at the Steven Crowder video, Infiltrating Antifa. And, you know, it doesn't hurt to just do some Google searches online, find some of the Antifa groups. Be careful, there's some parody groups, you know. But it's not hard to find BAM. It's not hard to find Anti-Racist Action, ARA. It's not hard to find these groups and read their blogs and read their websites and share any threats or admittance of acts of violence with law enforcement. We have to avoid fighting them in the street. That's what they want. And you know as well as I do that in the past, when we have fought Antifa and the fascists, the neo-fascists, I call them, in the street, it doesn't go well for anybody. And it puts some very patriotic individuals on the line, and as we know, like Kyle Chapman has had to deal with his court case, and other individuals as well have to deal with the outcome of these physical battles. So while it's important, I agree, it's important to show no fear and to certainly not back down. It's also just as good to let them come out and temper tantrum. As you saw with their big November 4th, which we all saw was a big bust. And then we saw the shooting afterwards, which some say was Antifa linked. And then we saw the screaming at the sky, which was also like no one's showing up to these protests anymore. But as we all know, it only takes one crazy loon to shoot up a place. So what's more important than going out and standing against 12 shivering idiots with impeach Trump signs is to out their criminal activities to law enforcement and to the feds, to Secret Service, so that we can take care of the dangerously criminal ones. And so one of the ways we can stand strong and be warriors is we can be online warriors and make sure that we're getting out and researching this information, and anything we see, report. If you see something, say something. If you see a leftist making violent threats to anyone on the right or to just anyone in general, report it and take a screenshot. You know, get to know the email address of the Secret Service and your local law enforcement. Keep sending it to them, and your state police while you're at it. We have to do our part. It's the only way we're going to actually stop some of this. And you'll see in the Steven Crowder video. They turn the information over to police, and then action is actually able to be taken on that information. So it's so important. The police cannot do all this research ourselves, and we're literally millions of eyes able to keep an eye out and to keep aware of the actions of these violent leftists. So I just wanted to talk about that. Strategies for 2018, you guys. We're going to keep talking about strategies. And in the episodes going forward of Trump Talk live here in DC, I'll have more graphics, and I'll figure out why the camera keeps going in and out, and we're going to solve all these problems. But there's some strategies going forward that are going to be so important. And I'm going to just write them as we talk about them. The state races. It is so important, you guys. State races. State races. So important that we get involved on a national level in all of these statewide races. And we should know who the pro-Trump candidates, I don't know, maybe that says she can't share. I'm all in public, so it should be able to share. if it's a zuck if it's not sharing, because my page is totally public. So we should know the pro-Trump candidates in all 50 states. We should be able to sing their names in a little song that we use to remember them all. And certainly, there's a lot of states, there's a lot of state races. That's what they want to do, is they want to divide this movement up. We are bringing people over to our side, even by forcing the left into these scandalous political tactics. I was reading on a friend's page of mine that yet another Democrat has come over to our side because she was totally fed up with the antics, with the accusations and the false accusations made by the left about sexual misconduct. As a person who, as a child, was treated inappropriately, she felt it very offensive that you would use this as a political tactic. It motivated her to come over to our side. That's real. That's really happening across the country. Their negative tactics are destroying their party themselves. So give them a little more rope. But it's so important to get involved in the state races and know who the candidates are that we are supporting and who they're going to smear, so that we can be sharing all of this information. So I'm going to do a little research, try to put together a list of the pro-Trump candidates across the country, and hopefully we can share that with everyone and we can support those races. Absolutely so important. Also so important for 2018, you guys, is we need to continue to normalize. We need to continue to normalize Trump support. Everyone is finding Everyone is finding that it's a lot easier now to go out in your Trump shirt. People are enjoying it still. We're putting our gear on. There's rallies. And certainly I've been guilty of not doing as much as I could as well. I'm sure in the process of moving, we can all do more, but we need to spend 2017, what's left in 2018, flag waves, marches, events, community events, meetups. Let's go out and, remove graffiti stickers from the National Mall. One of the things I'd like to do. Let's have, picnics, have lunches with your MAGA friends. Be involved with your MAGA people as much as possible, and do that in a public way. The more it's one thing to go to be online, to talk to each other, to go to each other's houses. It's great. But we need to be seen as a public movement. We need to, one of the things when we talk about the leftist culture wars is they try to terrorize us into silence. We can't allow that. That's ridiculous. We cannot allow them to terrorize us. And one of the ways we are silenced is don't wear your gear. Don't show support for Trump. Be quiet. No. We have to continue. We have to continue to normalize. We have to continue to normalize. The last thing I'm going to talk about, so important in 2018, we have to prepare for 2020. We have to prepare for 2020, you guys. I know there's a lot of ways to prepare for 2020. And being on the DOJ, being on these cases, being on, continuing to out the corruption of the establishment, and particularly the left, is going to be huge for preparing for 2020. So that's something we can certainly include in that category. But, save up a little money, you guys, if we have to be able to hold the kind of events, to make the kind of donations. Let's think ahead in what type of planning we can do as far as the movements we're involved in. Let's plan ahead into 2018, into 2019. Sometimes it takes a while to get permits. Some of these events take a long time, and I know the people at MOAR are already planning for 2018 right now. And we need to continue to be able to do that and plan way ahead, preparing ourselves for 2020. In addition, we need to get the good word out about what Donald Trump is doing. My bonus topic for the day is the Asia trip, and we feed right into that from what I'm just saying. Donald Trump did a great trip in Asia. It was amazing. The speeches were amazing. He said some things we have hoped American presidents to say for some time. Finally, we have somebody understanding the struggle of Korea, not North and South, but all of Korea. and how many people there really want unification. We have a president who understands the role of China in the world as an economic, hey Brian, as an economic powerhouse, and can respect them, but also can turn around at the same time and, give them a little smackdown, a little, hey, you got our boys though. Didn't you just arrest some basketball kids? Can you let them go? Because don't you love me? Right. We have a president who's actually negotiating with these nations. We have a president who understands the importance of national sovereignty, not just for us, but for other nations. Someone who says, you want your nation to be great, and we want our nation to be great, and we can both live side by side. Hey, Mike, we can both live great versions of ourselves side by side. That's utterly possible, and we have a president who believes that, not a president that believes we necessarily have to be greater than everyone else, but not a president who believes that we have to lower ourselves because other nations are not doing their best. We have a president who actually believes that by making ourselves great and understanding that other nations also want to be great for their own people, we can all be great together. What? It's amazing. So this Asia trip is some of the great information we can share. And I know many of us we all have different kind of feeds. Some of us still have liberals on our feed, leftists, Democrats, moderate, independents, Russian bots, whatever we have on our feed. Some of us have less. I'm happy you went to Vietnam too. It was, and spoke quite well to the Vietnamese people. And he's a president who understands that what we were actually fighting in those wars is communism. And we're still fighting it today. It's still so important that we do not empower rogue communist regimes. Just saying. So we have to be the force that's sharing this information, you guys. The mainstream media isn't talking about it. It's so important that we share the information with everybody about what Trump is doing well, and especially with your little liberal friends. Red pill some people. Everybody should be working hard to red pill those who they can. Mike, I agree. It is a wound we need to let heal. And I think one of the ways that it can heal is to just be together in a peaceful way. So it's one of the things I felt that was so wonderful about Trump's visit there is he didn't change who he was, but he was there in a peaceful way and spoke to the people from an understanding of their world. And, not caving anything and, hey, we want America to be great. You guys want Vietnam to be great. Great. And I think that actually is great. So, these are the things we got to do, you guys. We're going to talk about what we have to do a lot, but so important. State races, normalize, prepare for 2020. And we got to keep showing exactly that. Trump showed that Americans have a backbone. He showed what leadership looks like. He showed what grace looked like. Melania looked fantastic. I love that they're still so upset about her little shoes. It's stupid. But we're going to be doing these podcasts regularly now, you guys. I'm back on the mission. So I wanted to thank my unwitting musical guest. I played Jeremy's Mega Like a Mofo, Jeremy Harrell. We're going to play a little more of that on the way out. And I give him credit for this song, assuming it'll reload. Will it reload? It doesn't want to reload. It says no. Oh, we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it. We're going to make it happen, I think. No, we're not going to make it happen. All right. So no musical outro, guys. We got bugs working out. You will see me. We will be doing these regularly. I'm not sure of the schedule yet, but I will do an alert And I will also be making a list. And if anybody has any information in their state, a pro-Trump candidate that is running for Congress or Senate, please send that to me here on Facebook, Suzzanne Monk Nation, or you can send it to my MAGA Woman site, magawoman.com. Twitter me at Trumpetarian. Whatever you got to do. So, MAGA like a mofo, everybody. We'll see you again next time. It's your girl.